So, hi everyone, welcome to the interview with Hadisa, who is an Afghan student at Temple University. She is also one of the talented newspaper writers and an honorary ambassador for Inspire Youth Journal. Hi Hadisa, how are you? Could you please introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Hadisa, currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in international business at Temple University. So it's a great honor to be here today with you.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. So, my first question is could you share a bit about your own background and experiences that shaped your views on education and gender equality?
Thank you. As the Afghan girl who has been in Afghanistan, like who have encountered all the restrictions and all those the problems that currently other Afghan girls are facing. But I just took a step, and when I heard and when I saw all that the problems for Afghan girls, so I just started a network where we have established an organization, so where we could teach or offer online free education for Afghan girls. So yeah, I'm founder and CEO to Women Empowerment Education Network, WE, because I always believe in the power of education, and it's very hard in this situation to see Afghan girls are deprived of their basic rights.
Yeah, that's really amazing to hear that even in such a situation, you still found ways to help your community thrive. So I think that's really amazing. And so I want to talk about what kind of inspired you to write about the consequences of restrictions on girls' education in Afghanistan.
I was working on some projects with such as UN Women, UNDP, so where I was directly involved with Afghan women. Yeah, it was like 2022. So when I was in contact with them, we had like different research. So we were talking with them, we had like interviews with them. So during that time, I have noticed lots of things about these women, like such as they were like suffering or struggling with the depression or anxiety. Even some of them were traumatized. uh, like it was not easy to hear all those stories. So like then I decided to why not share this with other people, and maybe I could do through and writing an article. So therefore, I decided to write something in order to share my experiences as a firsthand as an Afghan girl. So it really inspired me to write and share this with the world.
Yeah, I also really think that your story should also be told and for more people to know about it. And so that comes to my next question, which is how has your community been affected by the current restrictions, and how have you seen other girls respond in your area?
Actually, as we all know that Afghanistan, in this current situation, it is the only country in the world that is the girls are not having their right of education. So obviously, if half of population of a country is deprived of their basic rights, so obviously we can see that there will be lots of negative impacts. Community cannot thrive without the women. Therefore, I have seen lots of girls during my experiences with them that they were responding in different ways. For example, some of them were like depression; they couldn't like be strong, or their mental health was not stable. But some of them still they were just continuing fighting. They were not like just giving up, and which really inspired me. It's really like interesting to see that those girls are it's still fighting for their rights, even everything is banned in Afghanistan. So they're just trying, and they're having like online courses, they are joining, like even some of them they're having their bachelor's degree through online universities, which is really inspiring for me.
Yeah, I also agree with you for sure that it's really amazing that even though, some girls may have different ways of coping, but it's also really amazing to see that there are girls making an effort, to make the best of their situation, even when with such restrictions in place. And so my next question is, in your view, what are the most immediate and long-term consequences of restricting girls' education for Afghan society?
Well, actually, as I see that some research from United Nations, as we can see, like from USAID, from UNICEF, from other agency of the United Nations, that they did different kinds of research, and as a result of those research, they have found like lots of like different factors which is currently like negatively affecting Afghan societies. For example, the one is economic situation. As we see currently in Afghanistan, like lots of people are all jobless. Even there were like some families, their only breadwinner was their woman, for example, because she was educated, she was doing the job. So now she cannot do the job. They are facing with the severe form of poverty. According to United Nations, women's contribution in Afghanistan was 5.4 billion dollars in Afghanistan, in Afghan societies, which is now, if we say it's banned now. So obviously, the country's economic situation is decreasing day by day, and people all are facing with poverty. The other consequences could be like the woman itself, even not only women but a whole nation. It is not a matter of only one generation. We suppose if a woman is uneducated, so how can she like teach, or how can he treat her children in the future?
Delve a bit further into this topic. In your article, you did reference like the increased risk of child marriage and maternal health challenges, which is kind of like the social aspects to this problem. And so, do you have like maybe like concrete data or anecdotes that you can share to illustrate these trends?
Well, yeah, according to USAID, 25% increases in the child marriage, since 2021, after the collapse of Afghan government. And there are several reasons for that. So the first one is because of the education ban. So for example, girls were busy with their studies. So now if there isn't, so and they cannot have the opportunity to study, so most of the family, they decide to marry them. Even it doesn't matter how old is she, but they're marrying her. And the other reason is poverty. Some of the families, they're like kind of marrying their daughter for someone, even if the person is older, and because of like for money, because they're facing with the severe form of poverty. Other reason is that these people are scared. These are scared, as we see, like we have seen most of the areas in Afghanistan, Taliban, they're marrying with girls like forcefully. So therefore they are just marrying their daughter in order to prevent from these kind of cases. I have seen like lots of girls, even they're 14 years old, they're 15 years old, so they're just marrying because there isn't any other way for them left in Afghanistan, because not all of the family allow their daughters to have like access to online education.
Yeah, I think it's definitely very unfortunate to hear that, these girls are being forced into early child marriages. And so, are there examples of communities or organizations that are finding ways to support girls' education or learning continuity despite like these restrictions?
Well, yeah, obviously we can see it is. I can see the fortunate part in today's world that we are connected with the internet, with the worldwide like global organizations. So yeah, currently girls, they are studying like through different organizations, even not organizations. I have seen like some universities, they are offering courses for Afghan girls, which is really amazing for me. Example could be like our network, we which is currently working, and they are like providing free education for Afghan girls. And not only WIN, but there is like other organizations as well.
Really amazing to hear that, other people are also finding about this problem and trying to help it for sure. And so how about you? Like, what gives you hope for the future of Afghan girls' education?
Well, honestly, for the future of Afghan girls, however, the situation is not that we could be more optimistic, but the hope is comes from these Afghan girls for me. So when it comes to the the Taliban is a government, and the difference is, the only difference I can see in the situation is only Afghan women. Like, they're not the women that were 20 years ago. They didn't have access to education. Like, even if they were banned, like, we can see our like those women from 20 years ago, even like the Taliban banned the education, they couldn't succeed. They could not take any courses online, but now they can, and which is really amazing now. So this is the only thing that gave me hope. And also, when I see these organizations working online, those even Afghan girls, Afghan women outside of Afghanistan, they're just trying to raise the voices of Afghan women, even in international levels and international conferences. So it really gave me a hope.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Afghan girls' resilience is truly admirable. And so that brings me to my last question, which is what are some practical steps that international communities or advocates like me can take to support Afghan girls' education within Afghan communities?
Well, actually, we have seen there has been lots of conferences, lots of virtual programs, lots of things. Like, we know that, but as we see that none of them worked really, right? But I think it is the time for international communities to take action, and the actions that could be feasible. For example, they could just provide more fundings for Afghan girls to have their online education. They can support them in more ways, but in particular in education, they have to increase their fundings for them. And the other point that I believe is that Afghan women should be involved in this, because they're the victim of these restrictions. They're the victim of these violences against them. So I believe they should be involved in these conferences in order to explain the situation better. Like, they have seen as a first hand what really is in Afghanistan. So I believe they should be involved in all the programs. We suppose the whole world, every country has the right to education, like their women are educated. But look at Afghanistan. Obviously, it's a big failure for the current government in Afghanistan.
I truly thank you for, taking the time today and for sharing all your firsthand insights into this problem as an Afghan girl. And yeah, I truly hope that things, do go for the better for Afghan girls in the future. And hopefully, more girls will be able to, have access to education. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time, and also for making this kind of opportunity, so at least we can amplify those Afghan women's voices. They are still unheard in Afghanistan. Their voice is still silenced. So I'm hopeful for a better future. And I hope we could do a lot more, as much as we can, for these girls, for these Afghan women, because they truly deserve to be like much treated in a better way, in the best possible way. So thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for your time as well.
Thank you.